Okay, minasan, let's go ahead and we're going to jump in to what we're going to be working on today. So first, you guys will be working on practicing speaking today and working on the material we learned last time in 7.3. Okay, so let's see here. Woohoo, laser pointer. Okay, so make sure that you have gotten the 7.3 worksheet from the substitute, and if you haven't, go ahead and grab that really quick, and once you've got it, go ahead and start up the video again. Okay, so what you're going to be doing today with your partner is you're going to ask your partner how each member of his or her family comes or goes to school or work, and what time each person leaves home, right? So you're going to need to write your answers in Japanese in the chart below. Okay, so if we look here, we got a spot for your family member, for the mode of transportation, and the time they leave. So you're going to find out both pieces of information. So let me give you kind of a guide, and you can write this on the bottom part of your paper if you'd like to kind of help you. So first, our question, what can we ask? So first, our question would be, you put in your family member's name, in this case, Otou-san. So, Otou-san wa nani de shigoto ni ikimasu ka? So again, that's Otou-san wa nani de shigoto ni ikimasu ka? Okay. So if you think about it for a second, you'll see that what we're asking here, first we're asking about their father, and we're asking nani de. Remember, we've been learning what particle in last class? If you said transportation particle day, you were correct. So we've been learning about transportation particle day. So if we say nani de, we're essentially saying by what mode of transportation or what means, right? And shigoto, if you remember, means work. So we can simplify this. And of course, our last word is go, right? So we can simplify it by meaning, how does your father go to work? So, Otou-san wa nani de shigoto ni ikimasu ka? Okay. And if you were to answer, this would be one way you probably answer. Remember, we're going to say chichi if we're talking about our own father. So, chichi wa kuruma de ikimasu. Chichi wa kuruma de ikimasu. So, I'd like you to use as much kanji as you can, if possible, and if not, at least make sure you're writing in hiragana, right? Okay, and then the second question you want to ask them, right, and that means my dad goes by car, right? Our second question is going to be asking what time they go, right? So, Otou-san wa nanji ni shigoto ni ikimasu ka? Otou-san wa nanji ni shigoto ni ikimasu ka? Okay. So again, this time we're asking, what time does your father go to work? And then your partner is going to go ahead and answer that question by telling them what time. So chichi wa, and you can go ahead and give the time. So you might say something like, say he goes to work at 8:30 a.m. You could say, chichi wa gozen 8時半に行きます. And of course, you would go ahead and write 8時半 here in our departure time. Okay. So chichi wa, or maybe it's 6:25, right? So chichi wa 6時25分に行きます. Okay. Now, if you guys get a little creative, I am totally fine with that. So, and remember, you're going to replace the word work with school if we're asking about someone who's still in school. Okay. And let's say you have a sibling who isn't in school or doesn't work. Well, pretend that they do and come up with something. And if you want to be creative about your mode of transportation, that is up to you. So that is part A. Make sure you go ahead and pause the video for a little bit and copy down what you need on your paper so that you feel comfortable asking and answering these questions. Okay. So part B. So it says, you want to go to the following places with your partner. Suggest a means of transportation to your partner or ask him or her to suggest one as shown in the example below. Write your answers in Japanese on the chart below. Okay, so let's look at some example questions and answers to be able to suggest someone to do an activity. Okay, so first what we need to do, of course, is go ahead and give them a place, right? Suggest a place they need to go. So so we need to first invite them to do something, right? So here's our example. Say we want to invite someone to go to a movie. We'd say, Eiga ni ikimasen ka? Right? Would you like to go to a movie? Okay. And then, of course, your partner would probably respond with, Hai, ikimashou. Right? Hai, ikimashou. So, yeah, let's go. Then you're going to go ahead and ask them, okay, well, how should we go? Right? So, nani de ikimasu ka? Nani de ikimasu ka? And that will mean, how should we go? And then your partner can go ahead and respond with an option. So movies probably likely here in Utah, of course. It'd be easiest to probably go by car. So kuruma de ikimashou. Let's go by car. Okay. So as you're thinking about this, if you want to be really silly, you can. If you want to be kind of logical, you can. See if you can invite your partner, right, to go to these different places. Japan, pick another state. Alaska, the airport, the library, and of course a movie, just like we have up here. So invite them to the activity, and for the sake of a smooth conversation, go ahead and say yes, and then go ahead and ask your partner, okay, what means should we go? By what means should we go to this activity? And then go ahead and give us a suggestion and write down what you've chosen. Okay, and that is it, my friends. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and pick a partner, and you're going to go ahead and do your speaking activity. Now, ideally, this shouldn't take you more than maybe 15, 20 minutes, okay? About 15, 20 minutes, right? If someone in class would like to be a timekeeper and go ahead and keep track of how much time you're spending, that might be really helpful so that you guys don't spend too much time on it. Once you're done, go ahead and turn in your worksheet with your name and your partner's name and the date, and go ahead and turn that into your basket, right, for your class. So those are, again, the baskets back by the pencil sharpener, okay? And once you've completed your speaking activity, go ahead and come back to this YouTube video. So, I'll see you in just a little bit. Okay, so now that we've kind of had a chance to review a little bit for lesson 7.3, we're going to go ahead and jump into the next part, lesson 7.4. Now, again, I have kind of a guide, and you'll see it's posted, kind of the outline of what I hope you get done today in class, and you may or may not follow that exactly, right? Maybe you take a little bit more time on the speaking activity, or you don't. That is fine. So if you have to go at a little bit slower pace, that's fine too. But so I fit in some what you need to work on, but again, it might not go at the same pace that I expect. So, but today's lesson is titled Doyobi desu. So, our kind of objectives is that you guys will be able to talk about your Saturdays, like what you do on Saturday. That you'll be able to use nominal verbs correctly. Okay, and we'll talk about what those are. We've talked about them a little bit, but we're going to review that. We'll be able to talk about use all the different translations of shimasu. So we're going to talk about how shimasu has multiple meanings, and that you guys can use the words dokoemo and nanimo correctly in the sentences. Okay, and finally, that you can describe to someone how the Japanese spend their weekends. Okay, if you'd like to follow along in the book, right, you'll just need to go to the beginning of lesson 7.2. So if you'd rather follow in the book and take notes from there, you're more than welcome to. Not 7.2, 7.4. So you're going to go to page, let's see, 240. 240 desu. Okay, let's go ahead and turn to 240 desu if you'd like to do that. So first, we need to go over our tango. Okay, so our first word is umi. Umi desu. And this is our fun kanji we have for the word for umi, which it means beach, ocean, or sea. Okay, so umi wa eigo de beach, ocean, or sea. Okay, and again, feel free to pause the video as we go through. I'm going to probably go through this a little bit quicker, but you can pause that and be able to practice that if you need to, okay, or copy it in your notes. So make sure you're taking notes, right? Noteを書いてください。次は山。Yama desu. Okay, and I believe we learned our kanji, right, for yama. So make sure you're writing the kanji too, and that means mountain, right, or mountain in Utah. Okay, so yama. Next is kawa. Kawa. Okay, so kawa, and of course you guys, I think we taught you this kanji for river. Kawa, pretty easy to write. Kawa. Okay. 次 is 旅行 です。Okay. You'll notice 旅行 when it's written with the kanji. This is a kanji you guys don't know, but we did learn this one, right? What do we use this for? Usually we use it with our verb to go. Okay, so 旅行. Okay, this means trip or traveling. Really important word to know, right? Okay, next one is デパート right? As you can see, this means department store. If you want to try, see if you can read what the sign says. See if you can figure it out. Okay, so デパート is department store. This is レストラン. I think you guys have seen this pop up a few times on your katakana worksheet. So レストラン is a word for restaurant. はい、次. Okay, so you might already know this one, but as a refresher, our word for shopping is 買い物. 買い物. Kai means to buy, or it comes from our verb to buy, and mono is a thing. So the thing of buying is shopping, right? 買い物. はい。次は食事. 食事. Okay. 食事 means a meal or dining. Okay. So 食事. はい。次はパーティーです。So a party would be party ですね。Mochi's just staring at me. Why are you staring at me, Mochi-kun? I don't know. はい。次はピクニック. Okay. So our picnic would be a picnic. Right? Picnic. じゃあ次. Our next one is camp. Okay. Camp, meaning camping. はい。次. Okay, and our next main vocabulary word is 忙しい. Okay, so this is one of your new adjectives, right? This is an E adjective, meaning busy, right? So if you're really busy, you can use this word 忙しいです. Okay. Now there's a couple additional vocab you might want to know, and you've seen a couple of these. Our first one is どこへも. So you'll notice here it has our hiragana he. In this case, this he is actually in its particle form, which is why we pronounce it as e. So どこへも. And that, when we attach this with a directional verb in its negative form, it means do not go or return anywhere. Right? So you can say I didn't go anywhere, I didn't return anywhere. Okay, and we're going to talk about that one a little bit more a little bit later. Okay. 次. 喫茶店is our word for coffee shop. So we got a nice little coffee shop down here. Okay, 喫茶店. 次はショッピングセンターです。ショッピングセンター, of course, is a shopping center. Okay. 次はコンサート would be a concert, just like we have down here. You go to a concert. はい、次はデート. If you remember, we saw this in our katakana video, right? So this is to go on a date or dating, right? Date. Okay. 次は、ハイキング。ハイキング。Okay. Hiking obviously is hiking. Okay. はい。And 最後, our last word is hima. Hima. So hima is a kind of considered an adjective, a keiyodoshi, or a na adjective, and that's why we have na in parentheses there, right? So it's a na adjective. So if you have free time or nothing to do, hima. はい。じゃあ、続きましょう. Make sure you have those written down. Then let's continue with your notes. はい。次, okay, our first part is about nominal verbs. Okay, so a few things I would like you to make sure you write down. First, this first little point here. Again, we have noun plus o, which is not required, and shimasu, right? So nominal verb, right, is a verb that is when we take a noun and we add shimasu to the end of it. And shimasu, of course, means like to do normally. And when we take a noun, we add shimasu to it, it becomes a verb. It's kind of magical. Okay. Now with these, we've already learned a couple of these, right? We already know benkyou shimasu. In fact, a lot of these on this list you've probably seen before. So let's go ahead and just look at them really quick. So our first word in noun form is benkyou. Benkyou. And if you're following along in the book, this is on page 242. Okay, so 242 page. Benkyou, right? And by itself, this is a noun meaning studying, right? When we change it into its verb form, benkyou shimasu, it becomes to study. Now, something to note, again, is that the particle o is optional when we use it in this context. So it's in parentheses, and honestly, I leave it out if I don't ever need it. So you don't really need it. Don't even worry about putting it there. So benkyou shimasu, to study. Our next one, of course, is taipu. Taipu, okay? So typing. Taipu o shimasu, or just taipu shimasu, is to type. Of course, we have our word denwa, which is a telephone. We can combine that with denwa shimasu, and it becomes to make a phone call. So if you want to call someone, you can say, girlfriend o denwa shimasu. I will call my girlfriend, right? Okay, something like that. Next one is ryoko. Ryoko, right? Our word for trip or travel or traveling. We combine that with shimasu, and it means to take a trip or to travel. So, やっぱり先生は日本に旅行します. Sensei is traveling to Japan, right? ごめんなさいね, 皆さん. Sorry for leaving you behind. Okay, our next one is 買い物. 買い物 means shopping. We combine it with shimasu, it becomes to shop. Okay, and then our last one, shokuji. Shokuji is our word for a meal or dining. And shokuji shimasu means to have a meal or to dine, right? To go out and have a meal. So shokuji shimasu. Awesome. So make sure you have those written down, especially the ones that you've never seen before. Okay. Now, again, really important is that if your sentence already has a direct object, the O should be left out, right? So my rule of thumb, again, is with these verbs, if you leave out the O, you don't ever have to worry about accidentally putting two O's in your sentence with these types of verbs. So if you leave out the O in between your nominal verb or your noun verb, you won't ever have to worry about accidentally having two O's in your sentence and for it to be kind of awkward. So let's look at some examples, right? So here we have the sentence, uchi de benkyou o shimashita. Okay, uchi de benkyou o shimashita. So if we look at this sentence, we have our first part, uchi de, right? We put de after our place to help say at home, right? So it tells us where our action is happening. And then, of course, this is our action, right? We studied, right? It's past tense. We studied at home, okay? We can have O here if we want because there is no other direct object in our sentence, right? We're not specifying what we're studying, right? We don't have any explanation about what we're studying. Now, if we look at this example, you'll notice that we're now being specific. We're not just studying in general. We are studying, or we didn't just study, sorry, at home. We studied Japanese, right? So Japanese is a direct object, the thing that is being verbed. So it's going to have an O after it, right? But that means that we can't put an O right here. That would be awkward. right? We only need one O. So again, as they say, if you leave it out, you're better off. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. So うちで日本語を勉強しました. Okay. So that's just a simple rule to remember. You're usually not going to have more than one direct object in your sentence. So if you have two O's in there, two of your particle O, then something's wrong, right? Okay. Hi. And of course, another example. じゃあ、明日電話します, right? That's what I would usually default to, is just say じゃあ、明日電話します. You can say 電話をします because we don't have any other direct object in our sentence. So we can go ahead and use that. Okay. And here's our last example. I think we have 日本へ旅行をします, or of course we can say 日本へ旅行します if we'd like. Either way is fine because there's no other direct object. But let's look at this one. Oh, that's weird. Did I match these up wrong? Oh, I did. So for number 5, sorry, there's a typo here. So it says 昨日宿題をタイプしました. 昨日宿題をタイプしました. Okay, so number 5, 昨日, yesterday. 宿題 is our homework, right? タイプしました is to type, right? So 宿題 is our direct object, right? Okay, our homework is our direct object, so we're going to have O after it. So we would definitely don't want to put an O here, right? Because that'd be weird. But my English translation is off. Sorry, guys. It says I shopped yesterday. That's not the right word. But let's move on. 6. レストランで食事をしましょう. Okay. We don't have another direct object. We have a place. That's different, right? But we're not saying like let's eat Japanese food or let's eat sushi, right? Because we don't have an object that we're specifying. We can just say 食事をしましょう if we like. Okay, let's go ahead and practice a little bit. So while we're doing this part, I recommend you pause for a second, think about your answer, and then go ahead and start it again when you're ready. If you do this, it'll give you a better idea if you understand what's going on, or if you're not paying attention, you might need to go back. Okay. So what you need to do is choose the correct particle from the options in the parentheses, and X means that no particle is required. So first one here. 日本語 blank 勉強をします. 日本語 blank 勉強をします. So would we put particle O? Would we put no? Or would we put X? What would make sense here? Let's think about it for a second. Okay. And once you have your answer, go ahead and start it up again. So let's take a look. So we would probably put, there's actually two options. We probably put X. Well, actually what I would do, this one's kind of weird. I think there might have been a typo in the book, but you would probably put Nihongo O and then Benkyou shimasu. You'd probably leave out this O here. We'd put an X here. But this is what it said the answer would be, but actually I think what we'd put is no. Nihongo no benkyou. So in this case, we're not saying study Japanese. We're actually saying do Japanese studies, okay? Because we're modifying benkyou with Nihongo, right? So it's not any studies, it's Japanese studies is what we're going to do. So we'd actually put Nihongo no benkyou o shimasu. That one's a little bit out there. Sorry about that. Number 2, Nihongo o benkyou blank shimasu. So we have Nihongo o benkyou shimasu. What were you going to pick? O, no, or X? So go ahead, think of your answer, and then we'll go ahead and take a look. Hi, let's look. So if you picked X, you're correct. So why would we pick X? Because we already have a direct object here, right? We have Nihongo as our direct object, and we have it marked with O. So we don't want to put another O in here. And no doesn't make sense at all. So we wouldn't put any particle. Good? And our last one. We have our word chugoku. Shokuji shimashou. Chugoku. Shokuji shimashou. So how do we connect these together? So we put O after chugoku. And what does chugoku mean? Do you guys remember? This is our word for Chinese, right? Okay, Chinese, right? So think about what Chinese is doing to shokuji. What is shokuji again? That would be to dining, right? And then we put shimasho becomes a verb. So think about how you would put your particles, see if you get it right. So if you put no to modify shokuji, so we can say that we're having Chinese food. We're going to go have Chinese dining. And you put o for your particle. You are correct. Good job. Again, this is a little bit tricky. The main thing I would remember, again, it would really make it simple for you, is that with any of your nominal verbs, noun verbs, just leave out the o in between the noun and the shimas, because you don't really need it. You can leave it out and you're perfectly fine, and then you never have to run into putting two o's in your sentence. Okay? Hi. So make sure you have your notes. You don't need notes on this page, but make sure you have your general notes down. Okay, next thing. This is actually not too complicated, right? You may have noticed this already, but shimas is a common verb, and it can be translated in many ways besides to do. Okay, so it doesn't just always mean to do, right? And when we're using it with these nominal verbs, that meaning changes. So let's look at some examples. So first one, if we're going to say sportsu o shimasu, we're not going to say to do sports. It ends up translating to play sports. Okay, to play sports. Our next one, terebi geimu o shimasu. If we want to say to play video games, we're going to say terebi geimu o shimasu. So this time, it still means play, right? To play video games. Okay. Our next one, party o shimasu. If you want to say to have a party, party o shimasu. So this time, to do has changed to meaning of to have here in English, to have a party. Okay. Number 4, pikuniku o shimasu. Pikuniku o shimasu. So naturally in English, the most logical translation would be to have a picnic. Okay, to have a picnic. Our next one, kyampu o shimasu. Kyampu o shimasu would translate into to camp or to go camping, right? Kyampu o shimasu. Next one, date o shimasu. Date o shimasu. So if you wanted to go on a date, to have a date, go on a date, right? To date, you can say date o shimasu. Yeah. Hi. So yeah, those are all of those. Go ahead and pause if you need to copy those down really quick, right? I'm going to go ahead and move on though. Okay, so we're going to practice this. Well, let's look at some examples, right? We kind of seen some, but let's look at a more detailed example. So, Chichi wa gorufu ga daisuki desu. そして、日曜日にいつもゴルフをします。Right? So, my father loves golf, and he always plays golf on Sundays. So the part that we're changing there is plays, right? Plays golf on Sundays. Let's look at our next example. 山へ行きましょう。そしてキャンプをしましょう。So, let's go to the mountains and let's go camping. Okay? So those are 2 examples. Again, if you'd like to write those down in your notes to remind you these different versions, you can. But we're going to go ahead and practice. You don't need to take notes on this part, but just participate. So first, if we're going to say tenisu o shimasu, are we going to use is it going to have the meaning have or the meaning play? Which one would it be? Okay. If you thought play, you are correct, right? Tenisu o shimasu, to play tennis, right? How about our next one? Pikuniku o shimasu. Are we going to use the meaning have or play in this context? Pikuniku o shimasu. If you said have, you are correct. I'm going to have a picnic. And our last one, kyampu o shimashou. Kyampu o shimashou would be here use the meaning of go or do. We would say do camping, go camping. If you picked go, you are correct. So if you feel like you got all of those that make sense to you, I think you get the idea of how this works. Again, to summarize, we're basically just saying that shimasu doesn't just always mean to do, especially with the type of things that we're connecting it to. It'll change the meaning to maybe have or play or go. Okay? Hai, suzukimashou. Okay, so our last little bit of grammar today is talking about dokoemo. Okay, so this means anywhere. In English, we say anywhere. In Japanese, it literally means nowhere, right? And in Japanese, if you remember from Japanese 1, we have a lot of double negatives, right? I don't go nowhere. That is perfectly fine to say in Japanese. Of course, we don't do that in English. We have to say don't go anywhere, right? Can't have a negative word like don't and then attach it to nowhere. It sounds weird, but in Japanese we do. So technically it means nowhere. We translate it as anywhere because it makes more sense for people. Okay, so dokoemo means nowhere. Okay, and then we need to use this correctly, we have to put it to a negative form of a direction verb. Okay, so what are our direction verbs again? We have ikimasu, kimasu, kaerimasu, right? And specifically, we use this a lot with ikimasu and kaerimasu, right? So let's look at some examples. Here's our first one. Kinyoubi no ban, doko e ikimashita ka? Kinyoubi no ban, doko e ikimashita ka? So we're asking Friday's evening, where did you go? Right? Where did you go? And you could answer with doko e mo ikimasen deshita. Doko e mo ikimasen deshita, right? So that would mean I didn't go anywhere, right? In Japanese, literally, I didn't go nowhere, but we translate it as I didn't go anywhere. So we notice here, we're using doko e mo, and our verb is in negative form, right? What part of this is negative? How do we know it's the negative form? If you said the masen part, you are correct. If it has masen in it, it's negative, right? So doko e mo ikimasen deshita. Okay, deshita is what? What does this add to our verb? If you said past tense, you're correct. So we have our negative and past tense, so we know it's something that happened in the past and it's negative. Very good. Next sentence, sorry. 日曜日にどこへも行きませんでした。そして何もしませんでした。何もしませんでした。Hopefully you guys are now remembering 何も. You guys remember 何も? So let's look at our English really quick. So basically the first part we're saying I did not go anywhere on Sunday, right? 日曜日にどこへも行きませんでした, right? We have our negative there. Didn't go anywhere on Sunday. そして何もしませんでした. I didn't do anything, right? I did not do anything. So if you remember, 何も works the same way as どこへも. We can't okay. We can't sorry, my video thing popped up here. So nanimo also is negative, right? We have to use it with a negative verb. So nanimo shimasen deshita. Okay, let's practice really quick. Our first one. 土曜日の晩どこへ行きますか? 土曜日の晩どこへ行きますか? Right? So Saturday evening, where will you go? Right? If you said どこへも行きません, you are correct. I will go nowhere. So we're using this, right, to show that we're not going to go anywhere. Okay, next one. 何をしますか? 何をしますか? What will you do? How will you answer? I will do nothing. I will do nothing. Okay. If you said 何もしません, you are correct. Very good. And then our last one. What if I asked you, 昨日の晩どこへ行きましたか? So yesterday evening, where did you go? Right? And maybe you're going to answer, or how would you answer? Think about it for a second. Pause if you need to. So that would be どこへも行きませんでした. I didn't go anywhere, right? So the only difference between this one at the top here is just it's present tense, right? Present, future tense, and not past tense. Okay? So hopefully this is making sense to you. Again, if you need to review this, go ahead and do that. Hi. Okay, last thing we're going to talk about, right, is our culture notes. So Japanese weekends. This is going to be a little shocking for some of you guys. So let me just read through it with you. Through this point, I'll try to keep it simple, right? So until several years ago, most Japanese people only had one-day weekends. Adults work 6 days a week, and children went to school Monday through Saturday. In 1998, changes in Japan's education policy allowed most schools to take 2-day weekends, although some alternated between 1-day and 2-day weekends, right? Recently, this has become a topic of debate as Japan's education board has increased the number of class hours per week, pressuring more schools to hold classes on Saturday. A gap between private schools, many which kept Saturday classes, and public schools has emerged. Okay? More schools are now holding Saturday classes when needed, or holding guest lectures, review sessions, and other lower stress events on Saturdays. In their free time, young people may stay home and watch television, read, or play computer games. They often also go shopping or play sports. Most businesses have also changed to a 2-day weekend, resulting in an increase in free time for adults as well, although employees may work overtime on Saturday or weekend evenings. Okay, so if you need to read through that again by yourself, go for it. But as you can see, there's very common in Japan that they have people work on Saturdays or go to school on Saturdays. Okay. So first, what I want you guys to do is, I'm going to have you just write a simple response to this. You're going to answer 2 questions. So the first one I'd like you to ask is, how do you think the shift from 1-day to 2-day weekend has affected family life in Japan? How do you think this has affected family life in Japan to switch over from 1-day weekend to 2-day weekend? And next, how might it affect your own family if you went to 6 school days a week? Okay, explain your responses to the question in a paragraph, right? So yeah, imagine if you lived in Japan, you only had, or we switched over here in the United States to have 6 days a week to be in school. What do you think that would happen to your family? How would that affect you guys? So go ahead, take about 5 minutes and write a response to those 2 questions. Put your name on it, the date, and I'd like you to turn that into your class basket. Okay, so that's your second little assignment. It shouldn't take you more again than 5 minutes to do that. So go ahead and do that. And once you've finished, go ahead and come back and turn that in. Okay. Last, I'm going to talk a little bit about your homework. So your homework, again, you will have until I return, which is October 5th, to turn in your work, but turn it in sooner rather than later so that you don't lose it or forget to turn it in, right? But it does give you a little bit more flexibility if you need to spend more time on it. So again, make sure you write that paragraph about Japanese weekends and submit that online. Make sure, again, you've turned in your speaking activity if you haven't already, okay? And actually, I'm not going to have you submit it online, so ignore that part in the slide. You will just submit it on paper, okay? Next, you're going to complete the 7.4 worksheet. So I'm going to just give a simple explanation of that in the next few slides, okay? So go ahead and stay tuned for that. And if the substitute hasn't given you that worksheet yet, make sure you go and get that from them, okay? So really quick, here's the first part. So just as a reminder, kind of about getting help. If you're a college student, these are some ways that college students usually learn to find answers, right? So number 1, make sure you try it by yourself before you give up, okay? And part of that is making sure you read the directions carefully on your worksheets, okay? And look at these. All of these have examples on them. So look at the example if you're stuck, okay? If you still can't figure it out, look to your resources, okay? Whether that's your textbook, the internet, your notes, okay? Look for help there, okay? If that doesn't help, ask a classmate. While I'm gone, you guys will be working in class. Feel free to ask a classmate to help you, okay? So find someone you can talk to and ask for help. But make sure you're not copying your classmates' notes, but you're collaborating, that they're helping you learn and that you're not just copying what they have to say, okay? And lastly, if you're really stumped or if everyone in class is not sure what to do, go ahead and send me a message and I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as possible. Normally I'm there, so you can raise your hand, or if you can send me a message and remind. Again, email would probably be most effective while I'm away, okay? So this first part, part A, all you need to do is invite your friend to the following activities. So it tells you what day of the week and what time, and then it tells you what you're going to invite them to do. So Remember, in Japanese, probably start with your time. If it's a general time, okay, then you wouldn't need to put anything. All of these are specific though, so we're going to put what particle after our time? That would be ni. Okay, so you can put particle ni after your time, just like we have up here. And then you're going to go ahead and put in your action, right? So inviting someone to a meal on Friday, shopping on Sunday, baseball game 5 p.m. today. Remember, when we're doing our time, these ones, so you'd probably start with the word today, and then particle no. And then you're going to go ahead and add p.m. 5 o'clock, right? We do our p.m. first, and then 5 o'clock, and then ni, and then go ahead and invite them to the baseball game. And of course, the last one, a movie at 7:30 tonight. That will be the same pattern, okay? If you need to hear that again, go ahead and rewind the video and play that back for yourself, okay? Let's go on. Part B. All you need to do here is you suggested places to go with your friend. You've said, hey, let's go to the mountain, or let's go to the beach, or let's go to a department store. Now, suggest an activity you can do at each location, okay? So learning those new phrases of activities you can do, think about what you're asking your friend to do, and what would you do at that location. So we invited our friend for like example, Yama e ikimashou. Let's go to the mountain. What would you do in the mountains? Well, naturally, camping would be a good choice, right? So you can say, そして、キャンプをしましょう. Let's go camping, right? So go ahead and you're just going to use that same pattern. You're going to have something with the masho pattern, and you're going to invite your friend to do some kind of activity that makes sense with those patterns, okay? Next, part C and part D. So part D, you are very sick and you did not do anything yesterday. So we're talking about yesterday, it's going to be in the past. So make sure you're writing in past tense, okay? And past tense, we're going to either have, and we're going to be negative. So it's past tense and negative, okay? Look at your first example here to help you out with that. So respond with appropriate words either for nothing or nowhere, right? So for example, here it says, Nani o tabemashita ka? Okay, what did you eat? You didn't feel good, so you didn't eat anything. Nani mo tabemasen deshita. You're just going to practice using that nothing and nowhere, okay? And then part D. So your Japanese friend invites you to a party, but you have many questions, right? So ask the following questions and fill in each parentheses with the correct question word and a particle if necessary. So we're going to practice using these question words. We have when, what time, where, who, and what. So make sure you put in the right question words, and again, if you need a particle, put in the particle, okay? So pay attention to that, see what makes best sense, okay? Go ahead and ask classmate if you're trying to remember your question words, right? Okay. And let's see, the very last part of this is if those were the questions you answered your friend, how would they answer them? So if you ask them, for example, when is the party? Okay, so party wa, and you ask them what time was the party, go ahead and then answer that question, party wa, and put in a time, right? So if you're going to ask someone, put in the party. So you're answering the questions you just figured out how to ask. That's it. Okay, so that is your worksheet. So hopefully you can work on this in class. If it took too long to do the activity and notes, you can watch this video hopefully from home and work on it at home. If you can't watch the video, then you can start it up where you need to when we have class again, okay? Ja minasan, ganbarimashou. Again, please send me a message and let me know how I can help you, okay? But that is basically everything for today. So we're going to go ahead and end there. Ja minasan, bye-bye.